Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this cardigan. So now let's get started. Okay, to make this cardigan we will need 4 medium weight yarn. You can use any 4 medium weight yarn of your choice. I'm using red hot, and I'm going to use 5mm crochet hook for the whole project. We need scissors, tapestry needle to weave in the ends of our yarn, and some buttons, and we need stitch markers for our work. Okay, this is the length of my cardigan. I chained 7 to 1 for both front panels and back panel. I chained 7 to 1. You can adjust yours as you want, and I'm going to demonstrate the pattern for you. Now for the ribbon part, the cuff area of my, for both panels, I make 8. So I'm going to make slip stitches into 8 stitches, and I'm going to put my stitch marker at the first stitch. I'll make 7 more slip stitch. Now you can adjust also the ribbon area of your own cardigan how you want it. Alright, I have 8 slip stitches with me, and then into the last stitch I just made, I will put a stitch marker there so that when I come there I'll know where to start. And now into the remaining stitches that's left for my work, I'll just make half double crochet into every stitch until I reach the end of my foundation chain. Alright, this is how it looks like. So when I finish my work, I'll chain 1 and then I'll turn. I'll skip that chain 1 that I just make into the next stitch. Into the back loop I will make half double crochet into every stitch. Go into 1 loop only, make half double crochet, and then to the next stitch, half double crochet into every stitch until you reach your stitch marker where we are going to make slip stitches. Work half double crochet into the back loop only until you reach your stitch marker. Alright, this is how it looks like round 2. When you reach your stitch marker, you're going to make slip stitches into every stitch. I have 8 slip stitches, so I'm going to make 8 going into the back loop only, and I'll put my stitch marker there, and I'll just make slip stitches into every stitch around. So this is how we are going to work the panels. For my back panel, I did not make any decrease or increase. I just work into every stitch around until when I have the amount of rows that I want, then I stop. The front panels are going to be a little bit different because we're going to make slip stitches, decrease into both front panels. For the back panels, we are just going to work round until you reach your desired fit for your back panel, and then you will stop working there and fasten off your yarn. So now here it's kind of, the yarn is kind of black, so it's hard to see, but just the same way we walk around to going into the back panel only, using 1 loop, and make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the end of your work, and then you will chain 1, turn your work, and then the same thing, skip your chain 1 into the next stitch, make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach your stitch marker. This is what we're going to repeat until you have your desired fit for the back panel, and then I'll meet you back at the end of our work. Alright, I have about 50 rounds for my back panel. You can adjust yours. If you want it oversized, you can add more rounds. If you want it small, you can make less rows. So I have 50. I have already made one back and front panel, and I'm going to show you how to make the next one, which is just the same way I work this other one. So let's start. So go ahead and make the same thing, just change the amounts of foundation chain you chain for the back panel, and then repeat the same thing, and you will leave about 15 stitches. Then we'll start making our decrease. Put your stitch marker at the 15 stitches, and then do the same thing, chain 1, turn your work, and then repeat the pattern. Go ahead and make slip stitches for the down ribbon parts until you reach your stitch marker, and then we'll start making decrease. So I'll make half double crochet into the remaining stitches after making my slip stitches, and I'll do that until I reach the stitch marker, and then we'll start making our decrease. Alright, I just finished this round and I have 2 stitches remaining. We are going to make a decrease. So into that stitch, make a yarn over and pull up a yarn from that stitch, and then into the stitch where our stitch marker is coming from, remove that stitch marker, and then go into that stitch and pull up a yarn, then make a half double crochet. Now we make 2 stitches decrease, and then chain 1, turn your work, skip your chain 1, and then the next stitch close to it, yarn over into the next stitch, pull up a yarn, and then to the next stitch, pull up a yarn, and the yarn over, make a half double crochet decrease. Into that stitch, put your put your stitch marker there, so that we'll know where we stop. Then after that, you can just put half double crochet into every stitch until you reach your ribbon pattern. Do the same thing, chain 1, turn your work half double crochet into every stitch. Now at this point we have 3 stitches remaining. We are going to make 2 stitches decrease into the next 2 stitch, and then we are going to leave the 1 stitch on work where our stitch marker is coming from. We are not going to work on that stitch, already 2 stitches. And then when you make your decrease, leave that chain on work, chain 1, and then turn your work. Remove your stitch marker, and we're going to repeat the same thing. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we are going to skip it, and then the next stitch we are going to skip it, yarn over into the next stitch, skip your chain 1 and the next stitch. To the next stitch, make a next 2 stitches, make half double crochet decrease, and put your stitch marker so you know where you will stop when you start the other round. Now this is the pattern we are going to repeat. Work throughout, go down, chain your work, turn, and then you will have 3 stitches remain. You work 2 stitches decrease and leave the one where the stitch marker is coming from, leave it on work, chain, turn your work, skip your chain 1, skip the next stitch, into the next 2 stitches, make decrease. This is what you're going to repeat until you have what you are comfortable with. If you want your neckline deep, more deep, you can add more decreases. So I'm going to make more decrease, and then we are going to work on the sleeve. So to work the sleeve, it's the same thing like we work both panels, but the differences here is the chains that I make for the sleeves. I work 7 to 1 for and body panels, which is not the same for my sleeve. I chain less than that. So you can also adjust your sleeve. If you want the sleeve long, you can add more foundation chains, so you can adjust it. It's just the same thing that we do for the body panels. The differences here is the chains that I make. I chain 61 for my sleeves, for both sleeves, and 71 for the body panels. And also you can adjust the amount of rows you want for your sleeve. And then we are going to, okay, after you have worked on all the panels, the body panels and the sleeves, we are going to connect them together. So the where I stop before I make my decrease for the front panel, I attach the same amount of rows I have. I attach it to the back panel, make sure that they are equally matching together. So I'm going to attach them using my darning needle. So this is what we're going to do. Both panels, both sides look the same, so it doesn't really matter which one is the right side or wrong side. Both of them look the same. So I'll just go into every stitch and sew them. I'm going to repeat the same for the other side. So this is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to tie a knot at this side, and then I'll hide the tail of my yarn, and I'll do the same thing for the other side of my work. And this is how we are going to attach all the panels, both sleeves and the body panels. This is the same way we are going to attach them. And then when finished, we'll just turn it over, and then we'll start working on the ribbon for the neckline. And I'm going to hide here the tail of my yarn. So you just repeat the same method. Repeat it for the other side, and we're going to join the sleeves to the body. This is how the right side is going to look like. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. Make sure and for the sleeves, I'm going to count each stitch at the middle, the center of my sleeve. I'm going to attach it to the side where I already seam the top. I'm going to use my stitch marker and attach it. This is the middle of my sleeve. And I'm going to lay it nicely with the body panels. This is where I'm going to stop seaming my sleeve on the body panel. So I'm going to take my stitch marker and attach it there so that I know where to stop and where to start. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. Make sure you do it equal. So I'm going to attach it the same way I attach the top part of my body panels. I'm going to use my darning needle. I'll go into that stitch where my stitch marker is coming from and then into the next stitch. I'm using the same yarn to attach the panels. I just go into every stitch and attach the sleeve to the body. This is the same way we are going to attach the other sleeve. Going into every stitch and repeat it until I reach where the other stitch marker is coming from. So after joining all the panels together, you can turn the cardigan to the right side. So now this is the time where we're coming to work the neckline. But before we start working on the neckline, we are going to work single crochet into every stitch around before we do the neckline. So where your work starts, go into that stitch and attach your yarn, the same yarn you work the body panels with, and then chain one there, and then to that same stitch make a single crochet, and then I'm going to work single crochet into every stitch that I have down there. Work single crochet into every stitch, go into both loops and both loops. So just work single crochet into every stitch. So repeat this, work single crochet into every stitch, go into both loops until you reach where your decrease stop at the corner, and I'll meet it back there. When you reach your first corner into that stitch, go ahead, put a single crochet into that stitch. Into that same stitch, make a single crochet. So now we have to single crochet into that same corner, and then to that next stitch make a single crochet, and then to the next single crochet, and then go into the next corner, make single crochet, into that same corner make a single crochet. So repeat this.
شو خلاص
Into the corner, when you reach there, put 2 single crochet. So now I'm going to work single crochet into every stitch that I have here until I reach up the neck. And I'm going to work single crochet into every stitch. When I reach up the neck area, I'll just go into every stitch, and I'm going to make single crochet into every stitch that I have there until I reach at the other side, and I'm going to repeat the same thing I just did for the other part of my cardigan. So when you finish making your single crochet into every stitch around, repeating the same thing we did for the first one, fasten off the yarn, and then we're going to start the ribbon. For my ribbon, I'm going to chain 7. You can adjust your own the way you want. I'm going to chain 7. If you want yours more, you can add more chains into that first stitch. I'm going to put my yarn into that stitch, and I'm going to chain 7, but I'm going to make 8 stitches. The one stitch is going to be a skip stitch, so I'm going to chain 8, and I'll be left with 7. Now I'm going to skip that stitch, and I'm going to make single crochet into the next 7 stitches until I reach the bottom. When you reach at the bottom, you're going to skip that stitch into the next stitch, make a slip stitch. And then again, you're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch. I'm going to try to work on top over the yarn tail that I have. And when you make your 2 slip stitches, just turn your work. Skip those 2 slip stitches into the next stitch, going into the back loop only, make a single crochet. I should have a total of 7. I'm going to work single crochet into every stitch until the end. When you reach the end, chain 1 and then turn your work. Skip your chain 1 and then to the next stitch, going into the back loop, make single crochet into every stitch. And I'll skip that stitch that I already make a slip stitches into the next stitch. I'll make a slip stitch, and then I'll make another slip stitch into the next stitch, and I'll turn my work. And this is the pattern we are going to repeat until we reach the other side of the cardigan, and we are going to make buttonholes. Now you can adjust the buttonholes if you want 3 buttonholes. For me, I'll be making 4 buttonholes, so you can adjust your own. If you want 2, you want 3, you can adjust the buttonholes. So I'll keep on repeating this method, and when I reach at the end here, I'll just chain 1 and then I'll turn my work. I'll skip that chain 1 and then work 7 single crochets into the back loop only, and I'll make 2 slip stitch. Always skip the stitch you already worked into the next one, make a slip stitch, and I'll make a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then you turn and then continue the pattern. So I'm going to repeat this process just like this, and I'm going to keep on working my ribbon until I reach the other the other side where I'm going to make my buttonholes. So repeat this until I reach at this point where we're going to make buttonholes. Okay, this is the end, but I already make about 3 buttonholes. I'm going to show you how to do it. Since I have 7, I'm going to make, so I work single crochet into every stitch around for this end, into the 7 stitches at this point. I'm going to make a slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and I'll turn my work, and I'll skip those 2 slip stitches I just made and make single crochet to the next stitch. And I'll chain 2. Now you can also adjust the buttonholes. If you don't want the buttonholes big, you can chain 1, but I want to chain 2 because of the button I'm using. So chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and then make single crochet into the next remaining stitches, and then chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and those 2 stitches that you chain, work into each stitch. So now I still have 7, so I'll go ahead and make a slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and I'm going to work another round. So I repeat this same method for the other buttons. And I'll make my last slip stitch at this end. I'll just chain 1 and fasten off my yarn. And I'll just attach. I'll use thread and needle to attach the sleeves. So as you can see, I put stitch markers, which means the amount of rows I have in between my buttonholes, I count them and then put stitch markers so that I know where I will attach my buttons. So do this, attach your buttons to your cardigan. And I want to thank you for being here. If you find this tutorial useful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you back into the next video. Bye.